You're scrolling on Instagram on January 10th. Everyone's posting their goals, their word of the year, their perfect morning routine. Fresh start, new beginnings, this is my year. And you're sitting there feeling nothing. Maybe a little anxious, not because you don't want those things. But somewhere deep down, you know that wake up at 5 a.m. or drink more water to your list right now is not going to fix what's actually wrong. You've had goals before. Some of you achieved a lot. And if you're being honest, the achievement didn't change how you feel as much as you thought it would. Maybe you got the promotion and still felt stress, or you lost the weight and still felt insecure, or you checked off half of your bucket list and woke up one day thinking, is this it? Last week we talked about why New Year's resolutions fail, how your brain is wired for survival, not thriving, how stress keeps you stuck, how annual timelines work against you, and if you missed last week's episode, make sure to check it in the link below. This week, I want to show you what to do instead. I'm going to walk you through a completely different framework for thinking about goals. And it's not about what you want to accomplish. It's about 3 buckets that determine whether you're actually thriving or just surviving with better habits. And when I learned this framework, it completely changed how I help my clients set their goals. Because once you understand these 3 buckets, you'll never look at bucket lists the same way again. You'll understand why you can achieve everything and still feel empty, why some goals energize you and others drain you, and why the goals that look the most impressive on paper are often the ones that matter the least. Hi, I'm Dr. Rue, and I'm a psychologist, and if you've ever felt like you're achieving all the right things and still feeling like something is missing, this one is for you. I want to tell you about 3 different clients. Names changed, details shifted, but the pattern is still the same. The first one, let's call her Sarah, came to therapy because she couldn't sleep. She was 42, VP at a tech company, married with 2 kids. On paper, her life looked exactly like the one she imagined at 25. She had the job, she had the house in good school district, the good marriage, the kids. She even ran a marathon she always thought she'd run. And she sat in my office saying, I did everything right. Why do I feel like I'm barely surviving? Her bucket list from her 20s, get promoted to VP, buy a house, have 2 kids, travel to Italy, run a marathon. She checked every single box. And she was exhausted, disconnected from her husband, going through the motions with her kids, and couldn't remember the last time she felt anything other than overwhelmed. Second client, we'll call him Marcus, kept coming back, the same goals every year. Get in shape. Every January, same thing. Join the gym, hire the trainer, meal prep for 2 weeks, then quit. He'd say, I don't understand. I want this. I know this is good for me. Why can't I make myself do this? We dug deep into it. He didn't actually care about being muscular. He didn't enjoy the gym. What he really wanted was to feel confident when he walked into a room, to not feel invisible at work, to have his wife look at him the same way she used to. He was trying to solve a problem the gym couldn't fix. Third client, let's call her Beth, she posted on social media constantly, perfect pictures, inspiring captions about gratitude and abundance, and she'd sit in her car in the parking lot before coming in and cry for 10 minutes so she could pull herself together before walking into my office. She had followers. She had engagement. She looked like someone who had it all figured out. And she never felt more alone in her life. All 3 of them, different lives, different goals, same problems. They were trying to fill the bucket by overfilling another. Remember last week when we talked about loss avoidance, how your brain is wired to run away from threats instead of towards what you want? How New Year's resolutions are actually about fixing what's wrong, not creating what's right. New Year's resolutions are the same thing. I don't want to die, have never seen Paris. I don't want to regret not running that marathon. I don't want to reach 50 and feel like I wasted my life. It's still running from fear. It's still avoidance. You are just avoiding bigger existential things instead of being overweight or being broke. What I see over and over, people set goals based on what they think will make them happy or feel a certain way, but they never stop to ask which feeling they're actually chasing or whether the goal they picked can actually deliver that feeling. Sarah thought achievement would make her feel fulfilled. Marcos thought fitness would make him feel seen. Beth thought visibility would make her feel connected. And they were all filling the wrong buckets. Jonathan Fields runs something called the Good Life Project. And he spent years studying people who weren't just successful, they were fulfilled. They woke up with energy, they had relationships that felt real, they were going to work that mattered to them. He found 3 categories that showed up over and over again. These 3 areas of life determine whether you're surviving or thriving. He called them vitality, connection, and contribution. Vitality is your relationship with your body, your environment, not your fitness goals, not looking a certain way. Energy, how you feel in your body when you wake up, sleep, movement, nutrition, nervous system regulation, the felt sense of being instead of getting through the day. The question for vitality is, do I wake up with energy or do I wake up and immediately just need caffeine to start and function? Connection is your relationships, romantic partnership, family, friendship, community, not networking, not how many people you know, actual belonging, being seen, being known, the quality of attention you give and receive. Whether you have people in your life who know the real you, not just the version you perform for the world. The question for connection is, when was the last time I felt truly seen by another person? And then we have contribution. Contribution is the work you do in the world, paid or unpaid, not career success, not titles or promotions, impact, meaning, using the gifts to create something or solve something or build something that matters. It could be parenting, it could be art, it could be teaching or building or organizing or fixing things. It doesn't have to be grand, it has to matter to you. The question for contribution is, what would I do even if no one noticed or praised me for it? Those are the 3 buckets: vitality, connection, contribution. Here's what's interesting about them. Most bucket lists focus almost entirely on contribution. Career milestones, creative projects, adventures, achievements. You can point and say, I did that. But research shows that when vitality and connection are empty, achievement in contribution doesn't fill them. You just become a successful person who is exhausted and lonely. Sarah had contribution, VP at a tech company. That's not nothing, but her vitality bucket was bone dry. She hadn't slept in years, and her connection bucket was running on fumes. She and her husbands were roommates, managing logistics, not partners. She kept trying to fill those empty buckets with more achievements, more goals, more to-do lists, because that's what she knew how to do. And it didn't work. What happens when you try to fill the wrong bucket? You try to fill the connection with achievement, so you work harder. You get promoted, you get contribution. People congratulate you, but you feel lonely because achievement isn't connection. And now you're tired from achieving to build the relationship you actually need. You try to feel vitality with productivity. So you optimize your morning routine, you track your steps, you meal prep, but you're still running on empty because you never addressed the fact that you're not sleeping. Your nervous system is fried and your body is begging you to rest. You try to feel contribution with other people's approval. So you do what looks impressive. You chase goals that sounds good when you say them out loud, but you feel hollow because you're building someone else's dream, not your own. Marcus thought he needed vitality. He thought the problem was fitness, get in shape, feel better, problem solved. But when we dug into it, his vitality bucket was actually fine. He had energy, he slept okay, he wasn't sick. His empty bucket was connection. He felt invisible. His wife was distracted, his coworker didn't see him. He stopped having conversations that weren't logistics or small talk. And he was trying to feel that by changing his body, by becoming someone who looked like the kind of person who get noticed. But you can't feel the connection bucket from the gym. That's not where connection lives. Once he saw that, everything shifted. He stopped forcing himself to go to the gym. He started asking his wife on actual dates. He joined a men's group where people talked about real things. He reached out to old friends he lost touch with. 6 months later, he felt more alive he had in years. And he never hit the fitness goals. If you've ever achieved something and felt nothing, or worse, felt more pressure to achieve the next thing, you felt the wrong bucket. Okay, so you might be thinking, this sounds nice, but how do I know which bucket is actually empty? Because I feel like all three are empty. And even if I figured it out, what am I supposed to do with that information? That's what we're doing next. And this exercise, when my clients do it, this is when things click. This is when you stop trying to will themselves into goals that don't fit and start building something that actually works. Neuroscientist Dr. Tara Swartz has this exercise that helps you figure out which goals are actually yours and which ones you're inherited from other people's expectations. It works perfectly with the three buckets because it separates what you think you should want from what you actually want and what your body needs. And those three things are almost never the same. Here's how it works. Step 1, your head. Place your hands on your forehead. Ask yourself logically, what do I think I should want? If I were being responsible, realistic, practical, what would I choose? This is usually contribution bucket. Career goals, financial goals, things that sound good when you say them out loud. Step 2, your heart. Put your hands on your heart. Take 5 deep breaths. Let your nervous system settle. Then ask, emotionally, what do I actually long for? Not what I should want, what do I want? This is usually connection bucket. Being seen, being held, not performing, not managing everyone else's need, just being with someone who gets you. Step 3, your gut. Hands on your belly, 5 more deep breaths, then ask intuitively, what does my body need right now? What is it trying to tell me? This is usually vitality stuff. Rest, safety, space. Your body doesn't care about your career goals. It cares about whether you are surviving or shutting down. I did this with a client who wanted help with her gym routine. Her head, I should lose 15 pounds. I should get stronger. I should be healthier. Heart, 5 deep breaths. I want to stop feeling invisible. I want to feel confident when I walk into a room. I want my husband to look at me the way he used to. Her gut, 5 more deep breaths. I am so tired. I need to sleep. I need to stop saying yes to everyone. You see what happened here? Her head said vitality, lose weight, get fit. Her heart said connection, feel seen, feel wanted. Her gut said vitality again, but not the kind she thought. Not exercise, rest, stop, recover. Her empty bucket wasn't really vitality in the way she thought. It was connection. She felt unseen. She decided the way to fix that was to change her body. Meanwhile, her actual vitality bucket was screaming for rest, for space, for her to stop overriding her body's signals and treating exhaustion like it was a character flaw. Once she saw that, she stopped forcing herself to go to the gym. She started saying no to evening commitments so she could sleep. She joined a book club where people talked about things that mattered instead of just surface level pleasantries. She asked her husband for a weekend away where they actually talked instead of managing the kids' schedule. The gym became optional, and she felt more alive than she had in years. What happens if you don't do this work? You keep setting goals based on what you think you should want. Career stuff, achievement stuff, things that look good from the outside. You keep hitting those goals, or you keep failing at them because you're beating yourself up. Either way, you don't feel better, and 5 years from now, you're more successful and more exhausted. You have more to show for life and less energy to enjoy it. You've checked more boxes and you still feel like something's missing. The bucket list approach isn't about lowering your standards. It's about raising them. It's asking, is this goal going to make me feel alive or just accomplished? Is this going to deepen my connection or just give me something to post about? Is this contribution that matters to me or contribution that looks good for other people? Those are very different questions. Now, don't just listen and then move on, because this is where change starts. I invite you to put this to the test. Get 3 pieces of paper, label them: vitality, connection, contribution. For each bucket, write down what would full look like. Not perfect, not some impossible standard, just full. What would vitality look like or feel like in my body? What would I notice? What would connection look like in my relationships? How would it feel to be with people I love? What would contribution look like in my work, paid or unpaid? What would I be creating or building or solving? Then ask yourself, which bucket feels most empty right now? Not which one you think you should work on, not which one would be most impressive to fix, which one actually needs attention, because that's where you start. Next week, we're going to talk about how to actually set goals around that bucket, goals that work with your brain instead of against it, goals that don't require willpower because they are aligned with something you actually care about. But you can't get there if you're still trying to fill the connection bucket with achievements, or the vitality bucket with productivity, or the contribution bucket with other people's approval. Figure out which bucket is empty. Get curious about why, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.